Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Topiary is a tile game. It's very interesting and very neat how you have this 5x5. Everything's face down about the center, and it's all about scoring points. The game is very, very abstract, but you'll be placing these meeples around so they can visually see down this line, and you'll be replacing the tiles or at least flipping them over if you choose to. Now, this game's all about scoring. It's all about how the game scores and what you can see. Now, the height of them and what will block each other will be numbers. So there's no 3D effect to this one, kind of like in photosynthesis. You're just going to have those numbers that will block. And honestly, it's very easy to see. It's very easy to use the numbers. You know that a higher number will block something or that's equal to that it would block it. It's very easy to use. But when it comes down to it, you don't have ultimate control in this. You're only going to be able to place a finite number of tiles in the game and kind of influence how things will score. Now, you know very well that in your hand, you probably want smaller numbers in your hand in the game, so those will score that you can visually see because you want the higher ones to be on the board and you want to be able to score those games. So, to be very clear, this is an abstract game. It's very much like photosynthesis if you played that. I particularly like this one better. I think that it fits in for what I like. It doesn't have the presentation of photosynthesis, but they're very, very, very similar games. Now, with the photosynthesis, you're kind of this economy of sunlight. Here, what you're going to be looking at is these meeples you're putting out, and they'll be looking down these rows. So, I don't know that this is a very realistic game. It's very abstract, and you're either going to like that or you're not, and it's going to come down to scoring. Now, when you're playing against other people, they will be playing tiles to block you. But I feel like in this game, it's much better to try to maximize your score more than it would be to try to just block somebody. Now, if those two things line up where you can block somebody and score points, you just hit the mecca in this game. It's a fairly quick game. There's not a whole lot to it. It's fairly light. I feel like anybody can play this game. The theme, I don't know if it's going to bring anybody into it, maybe on the table, maybe a really big Edward Scissorhands fan, but for everybody else, it's just kind of there. It's pleasant enough. It's nice, but I don't know if the theme is going to pull anybody in. The presentation definitely isn't going to. There's a lot of little decisions you're going to be making where you place the meeples and where they can see and what tiles you're going to be exchanging. So there's quite a bit going on here. But the important factor is that you don't control everything. And sometimes not playing a tile will increase your point usage because you don't want to take the risk. Oh, I got all fives in my hands. I don't want to block something. Because if it's face down, it doesn't score at all. So sometimes you'll have a little bit of that, but you just want to block somebody out from blocking one of your big scores. And it's a very neat thing. So Topiary for me is going to be a keeper. Just slightly. I don't usually like these abstract games, and it probably won't last in my collection very long. But for now, I do like this one, and we'll keep it. Here's Topiary. You can see the very white box with the little dinosaur in the middle, which is a great, great cover, if you ask me. I like it quite a bit. What you're going to get inside is a rule book. You're going to get a little score sheet that's one-sided. And then you're going to have a lot of air in here. So everything's going to fit in the center. The box could have been a lot smaller. You're going to get a set of these tiles to play the game. They're very thick. They will have different numbers on them and shapes. And as the numbers get higher, the shapes get bigger, which is a nice little touch to the game. You will also get a number of meeples that you will have and these little scoring markers. Now, one thing I found particularly interesting is I believe that this meeple is maybe a player in a wheelchair. That's what we thought, which I thought was a great diversity addition to the game, which is really cool. So that's going to be the green ones. Otherwise, each of the different ones are a little bit different. The yellow one has a hat on it versus the red one not. So it's pretty neat that these are all different. So that's the components you'll get. I'll set it up and show you how to play. To set the game up, you're going to have a 5x5 square. The middle square will be open. Each player will then have 3 tiles as their opening hand. And what you'll do on your turn is you'll take one of your little meeple guys in your color, and you will set it at one of these spots. And you can always set it diagonal if you want. So if you place it here standing up, the meeple will be looking left to right. You can take any of these, and you take a look at it. You add it to your hand, and then you place another one down. And then it'll be the next player's turn. And then they will also do the same thing, picking up one of these, maybe this one, put it into their hand, and they can put any of these down, including the one they just picked up. Now, you will be doing all of this to score points. And the way the game is going to score, I'll flip some of these over just to show you. So, for example, yellow would score here. So you would score 1 point for this one, 4 points for this one, and 5. But this 5 is considered higher or thicker, and you can't see anything below it. So I won't be able to see the 4 and a 3. So for this row, I would score 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 1 is 10. Not scoring those. The red one here would skip any that are not face up, and he would score 3 for this one and 5 for that one. Now let's say the scoring had been like this for yellow with 2 whales in a row that both scored. You would get 1 additional point for each match that you had. So if you had 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 2 in a row, you would get 1 additional point. Also, you will score for the tiles in your hand. Let's say this is the red player. Now the red player can see a 3 elephant here. And he has a 2 elephant and a 5 elephant in his hand. Now he has this 4 triangle. He can't see any of those, so he will not score that. Throw that to the side. But he can't see the elephants. He will score for any elephant smaller than the one he can see. So he can see the 3 elephant, so he will score for the 2, but not the 5. So it's what you're going to be doing each turn, is you'll be placing these guys out in such a way to manipulate these tiles in order to allow you to score more points. Also, in order to block your opponent. Who should buy this game? Anybody that likes abstract games that score, especially if you want something on the lighter side. There are decisions to be made in this game, and each decision you make is simple, but they build up over time and become much, much more important as the game goes towards the scoring of the game and away from the playing of the game. I think that it can be a little bit of a brain burner. I think they have some kind of decisions on how you're going to score, and when you play, you're like, I screwed that up, I should have done that, and that will come into play into it. But as for the ease of play, I think really you could pull this out, and within 5 minutes, nearly anybody can be playing, and they kind of understand what's going on. It's abstract, the theme is just put on there. You know, if that draws somebody in, so be it, but I just don't feel like that's going to be a long-term appeal of this game. Otherwise, it's just one of those games that you might use as a filler, or maybe if you put the kids to bed, you'll play a hand of it and just kind of see how things go. So for me, a slide keeper, but definitely a try before you buy. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.